I was holding a plastic cup when they laughed. Not polite laughter, not nervous laughter, the kind that lingers too long and tells you exactly where you stand. Janet succeeded despite having no support at home, her boss said, smiling like a benevolent king. Her husband is just a cleaner who can barely read or write. More laughter. Glasses clinked. I looked at my wife, Janet, the woman I had met when neither of us had money, only plans. She didn't look at me like a wife looks at a husband. She looked at me like an obstacle that had finally been named. "It's true," she said lightly. "He's holding me back." That was the moment something very old and very patient inside me sat up straight. I nodded, calm, silent. The cleaner understood. We hadn't always been this way. Once we shared instant noodles on the floor of a studio apartment. Once she held my hand while I studied balance sheets at night, whispering that I was smarter than everyone else in the room. Once she believed in me before my money ever did. When I started cleaning offices, it was supposed to be temporary, a way to stay invisible while I built something no one could trace back to me. I told her it was strategy. She heard failure. As her promotions came, my silence grew more convenient for her story. She stopped asking what I did during the day. I stopped explaining. Love doesn't always break loudly. Sometimes it erodes. I didn't discover her betrayal in a dramatic way. No lipstick on collars, no late-night texts. It was smaller, colder. A spreadsheet left open on her laptop, her future projections, her life post-me. No space for my name, no margin for my existence. That night, I didn't confront her. I started planning. Pain is loud. Planning is quiet. I reviewed documents I hadn't touched in years, trusts, shell companies, voting rights, structures built precisely for moments like this. I listened more than I spoke. I cleaned offices that belonged to people who thought they owned the world. They never look at the cleaner. I collected signatures, verified clauses, activated contingencies. By the time Janet's boss called me uneducated, the boardroom chessboard was already set. The party continued, music swelled. My wife glowed under borrowed praise. Her boss raised his glass again. To Janet, proof that background doesn't matter. I stood. The room stalled. The cleaner wasn't supposed to stand. "That's interesting," I said, my voice steady. "Because the company you all work for? I own it." Silence has weight when it falls correctly. Someone laughed, then stopped. Janet's boss frowned. "This isn't funny." "I agree," I said. "That's why I'm not smiling." I took my phone out, not dramatically, casually, like a man checking the time. "About 3 minutes ago," I continued, "the retirement trust activated its voting rights. You remember that trust, don't you? The one you dismissed as passive." Faces shifted. A few executives went pale. They knew. "I hold 76%, I said, indirectly, legally, quietly." Janet stared at me as if she were seeing a stranger crawl out of my skin. "You're lying," she whispered. "I clean," I replied. "I don't lie." By Monday morning, the board convened an emergency meeting. I didn't attend in person. I watched through a secure feed, coffee in hand, wearing the same jacket I used to clean hallways. "You're outdated. We're done here," the CEO hissed when my face appeared on the screen. I replied quietly, "Understood." That was the moment the vote went through. Watching power change hands is subtle. It doesn't explode. It exhales. The CEO was removed. Janet's boss followed. Contracts were reviewed. Promotions were reversed. The narrative collapsed under its own arrogance. Someone asked the question out loud, voice shaking. Who just fired the person who owns the company? No one answered. Janet came home that night. No makeup, no confidence. "You humiliated me," she said. I looked at her the way you look at a completed project. No anger, no longing. "You humiliated yourself," I said. I just stopped cleaning around it. She cried, apologized, explained, used words like pressure and ambition. I listened. That was the last gift. I loved you, I said finally, but you needed me small to feel tall. She reached for me. I stepped back. Divorce papers were already drafted, signed, timed. Now I sit alone in an office with a view no one ever offered me. The glass is clean. I didn't do it myself. They still don't see me coming. They never do. I think about that laugh, the one at the party, the sound of certainty from people who mistake noise for power. Here's what I learned. Being underestimated is not an insult. It's leverage. And revenge doesn't need shouting. It just needs ownership.